everybody. Outlawed Live, if I can get the intro to behave and play along with us. Outlawed Live this first Tuesday of October, Tuesday, October 1st. Mike Idle here, flying solo. Ron Stone's with me in the back room right now, but he's in the middle of a very important Outlaw meeting. So Outlawed Live is going to be running solo with Mike for a little bit tonight, but hang in there, guys. We've got an awesome guest who's going to join us at about 7:20 and talk to us about their, I'm not going to ruin who it's going to be, talk to us about their points championship season. So, like always, let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what's going on tonight. Let us know what you want to talk about in the world of outlaw truck and tractor pulling. So, it's getting to be late in the year. We're hitting that fall kind of feeling. You see a lot of farmers out in the fields. Typically, this is when, drivers are putting it in the shed. They're kind of letting things rest and relax. They're going over everything. The seasons are pretty much wound down and wrapped up. But hold on and do not forget, we are not done yet. We still have our Swan Song event, big event just around the corner. We are about, 3 weeks or so away. Of course, I'm talking about dragging and pulling in the Pines in Lufkin, Texas. You can get on the Outlaw app at any point in time. Free to use, free to download. Be sure to grab that Outlaw app where you can have all the great information. I took a couple of screenshots on it here before we got going tonight. So you can go ahead and jump on there right there and see. That's where you can find the events and all the information for Dragging and Pulling the Pines, Lufkin, Texas. It's going to be coming to you Friday, October 25th, Saturday, October 26th, 2-day event. And also on the app, you can always scroll through and look at what they have available. I always like getting on there, looking at start time, double checking where I need to drive to. And of course, it's a great way to be sure to double check exactly who you're going to be watching down there. Super modified two-wheel drive trucks, diesel 3.0 trucks, modified tractors, pro stock 4x4 trucks, and the big 5.0 pro stock tractors. Now, let's talk about 4 of the 5 of those classes: pro stock tractors, modified tractors, super modified two-wheel drive trucks, as well as your 3.0 diesel trucks, all still in it running for points. Robert Miner, first one on the board. Robert Miner, hello from Niobrara, Nebraska. How are you doing this evening? Thank you for watching, like always. So each of those 4 classes just listed, still pulling for points. Now, that brings up the conversation piece. Well, what about the 5th one? Pro stock 4-wheel drive trucks. Their season's done. Their season is over. They're finished. Their points championship has been concluded. Keith Hammonds walked away victorious in that class. By the way, happy birthday, Mr. Keith Hammonds out there. As fate would have it, October 1st is, the green Chevy from Green City himself. Happy birthday out there, Keith. So Keith already wrapped up that season. But a lot of people were saying, we want to see this class. This class had a lot of interest in coming to Lufkin. Lufkin wanted that class. They've even got some pullers down there that can hook in that class. So that's going to be a cash and bragging rights hook. Same outlaw payout, I believe. They're still kind of running everything the same. Outlaw payout, but no points on that one. Always fun when that happens. You're not hooking for points, so there's no reason to kind of play the consistent game. No reason you can't drive it aggressively. So we're looking forward to seeing what that's going to hold, but we're also looking forward to seeing how are things going to shake down in those 4 final points classes on the year. And of course, just like we have right here, the app is open for entries at Lufkin. As a matter of fact, let's see who's already entered. We're 3 weeks away, but we can get on there and we can kind of play and look. So as it stands, Friday night, the lineup's going to look like this. We got 1 two-wheel drive already registered. Great job out there to the Cotton Candy team. High Cotton's already in there ready to go. Look at this. 6 diesel 3.0 trucks. Now, guys, this is 3 weeks away. Do not go telling your friends, well, there's only 1 truck sign up. No. Okay. This is a kudos. This is a tip of the cap to everyone who's already got the ball rolling out there. 6 trucks already signed up. Heavy hitters: Ryan Stahl, Skylar Leeper, Emily Schaefer, Preston Collins, Jeremy Bales, and Jason Wayman. We'll give a points breakdown in just a little bit as well. Pro stock 4-wheel drive trucks: Roper Brown, Holland Grass. What a good season that young man has had. Really, really strong rookie campaign. I would keep your eyes peeled to see what's going to become with that team, what he might have in store in the future. Cole Lundahl checking in from Wakefield, Nebraska. Cole, back in the seat of the Kenworth, I see. Hope all is going well. Hope we bump into you again very soon. 3 modifieds already signed up, including Mr. Scott Bracken from Southern Missouri, going to go down there and play in the Texas Clay. Team Cotton Candy's ready to go. And Kyle Petch already signed up. Of course, congratulations to Kyle Petch, starting his new position with the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association today, officially starting in that new position. Very excited to see him grabbing the reins. Very excited that he's going to be taking us in a lot of good directions. Awesome guy. Kyle, if you're out there watching, I think you're in the back room at the meeting right now. Learned a ton from you this summer. You're great to work with. We're all very, very excited for you to be starting in that position. And 1 Pro Stock signed up so far already. So the app's open. Pullers are already excited. This is a big event. Now, I've never been there. I've never been to Texas, but I know Ron's put in a lot of legwork. I know the promoters have put in a lot of legwork. There's a lot going on down here. Concerts, semi-truck drag racing, a lot of really neat things. It's turning into one of those destination pulls. So season is far from over with. We've still got upwards of 10 sessions, 10 hooks, 10 times however many vehicles, 5 hooks Friday night, or 5 classes Friday night, 5 classes Saturday night, times however many are going to show up there. Brandon Gilliland says Oso Negro is going to try to be there. The Black Bear, one that we haven't seen from in a while. Is that tractor still a triple Chevy setup? You know, some of these guys have changed, went away from the triple Chevys to the twin Hemis. Give us any information that you might have on that. Hard running veteran tractor that's hooked with the Outlaws quite a bit in the past. Haven't seen him recently. He's replying, says, yeah, absolutely. Still running the triple Chevys. Absolutely. You know what? They can work right with the best of them. So wonderful, wonderful. So a couple other comments coming in here. Willie Bricker says he's young blood pulling here tonight, calling from Lincoln County, Troy, Missouri. No young blood. If you're looking at the pro stock, he's actually going to be a little bit too large. He's running a turbocharger. I know that he has hooked exhibition in Macon, Missouri with us in the past. But no, I do not anticipate that we will see the Schromick team going to be there. Interesting question nonetheless. Let's take a quick look at points. And then, like I said, we're going to talk to a points champion before the evening is over. Definitely looking forward to having a conversation with this long-time, hard-running outlaw individual. So on those 4 classes, like I said, pro stock trucks, not hooking for points. Willie Bricker, no problem. Absolutely. Good question. Pro stock trucks, they've already wrapped things up, but that's going to be fun to see. You know, that'd be a good one to say, you know, who's going to do what, who are you anticipating there? Come over to your Outlaw app. You can always go down to points. Super modified 2-wheel drive trucks. Richard Morris, great year. Having a great year. Ron and I have talked about it frequently on the podcast. This has been one of those things that's kind of been a developing story. 436 points currently. Donald Nelson with the Whippet, his kind of specific truck, not necessarily the Dustin truck or the Mindy truck, with his purple 2-wheel drive, sitting in second place, 5 points behind. So let's kind of dive into that tonight. Of the points races, when we go to Lufkin, which of them do we need to have our eyes turned to most directly? Only 5 points between first and second. There's 56 potential available points that are going to be up for grabs down there with a 2-hook session. Beer Money Pulling Team, I've heard of them. Says here we may have some Kentucky and California pullers in Lufkin. Would love to see. So I know Brian Massetti has kind of alluded to the fact that there is a potential that you will see the Whip come to Texas. That would make for a super interesting story as Brian Massetti's tractor. You know, Brian Massetti out there, the head of MLM Motorsports, Major League Motorsports out there in California. His tractor, the Whip, modified pulling tractor, is Donald Nelson's old Twisted Whip. Or Twisted, excuse me. Yeah, I think it's the old Twisted I don't think it's the Texas bullwhip. I think it's the twisted whip. It's the old chassis belonging to Donald Nelson. Sold it out there. They redubbed it the whip. Be a fun opportunity for them to come back to Texas. So they've kind of alluded to that. Of course, then there is the Sullivan connection where we saw Donnie Sullivan coming down from Kentucky with the Kentuckian. And then he's got family members. I believe it's a grandson, could be a son. He's got direct relations that are living out there in California now. And they've got a mean running modified as well. All these guys kind of converge Texas, somewhat of a central location. We saw the Kentuckian pulled in white right. We would love to see some follow-up. As a matter of fact, I kind of made a prediction. And I said the Kentuckian finished third both nights behind Don Nelson and Cameron Neves. And I said, he's going to be scratching for more. He's going to want to come back and prove his side of the story. Those Outlaw boys are not going to back down. They're going to meet that. They're going to meet that challenge every single day of the week. Would love to see that. Let's see some other comments over here. Truck and tractor pulling. Okay, saying some of the same thing. Absolutely. Yeah, so we'd love to see some of those Kentucky and California pullers. Super modified two-wheel drive trucks, 5 points, separating first and second. A lot can happen. You know, those are two drivers, the last event of the year, that are going to be very, very aggressive in the whole shot, very aggressive on the throttle. So that'll be fun to see how that shakes down. 3.0 diesel trucks. Jason Wayman, Megatron. Remember, Jason Wayman came in second place last year in the Outlaw point standings, was one hook away from finishing in first. So he's kind of got a personal vendetta. He's got a prove it mission coming around this year. He's got a 2-point lead over Skylar Leaper and Legal Limits. Now, fun season these two guys have had. Early in the season, looked like Skylar Leaper was going to be the man kind of running away with things. Jason Wayman starts doing what Wayman does. Second half of the season, gets Megatron dialed in. That truck's been on a tear, overtakes him, 2-point lead. Couple of tough drivers, couple of good-looking trucks. And then Ryan Stahl, 201. So only 15 points back. Last year's champion, last year's Case IH Thunder in the Dirt Series national level champion, just 15 behind. Now, that's going to take an interesting weekend, but within striking distance. So both the truck classes, keep a big, hard eye turned on to those. Let's come down here to our pro stocks. Cody Yarick coming on strong late, your defending points champion. He's got a 12-point lean over Kyle Carson's. Another one of those Kyle Carson's looking like this was going to be his season. Cody Yarick started doing Cody Yarick things, coming on strong late on the back half of the year, compiling a comfortable-ish lead. But like I said, with 2 hooks and 2 nights, anything can happen. And Greg Jagger in the Wampuscat is about, 21 points behind. Feasible, but keep your eye on those. Of course, Cody Yarick, he's got something to prove at the track of Lufkin. Lufkin gave us the ladies and gentlemen, we have a runaway highlight video from last year. So Yarick kind of looking to come back and tame the beast that is that track as well. And then down here in our 7,400-pound modifieds, Cameron Neves currently with a 30-point lead. Wayne Longnecker, River Rat, currently sitting number 2. Craig Ulmer, Sweet Pain, sitting number 3. Now, Cameron Neves has a 30-point lead. We've all been watching. We know what happened at Bloomfield. Cameron puts new tires on. Just night and day difference. Okay, that tractor is just happy as punch right now. So let's look at the battle for second and third. Wayne Longnecker, 402 points. Craig Ulmer, Sweet Pain, the Ulmer Mafia, the owners of the North, 401. So while you might be inclined to say, well, our eyes are going to be tuned very directly on the truck classes, keep an eye on this modified class too, because while Neves might get a little breathing room by the time the weekend's done, that second place points race has the potential to turn into something that might be an absolute dogfight. Team Ulmer really in kind of the middle third portion of the season started rattling off some big time victories. Wayne Longnecker having a little bit of a renaissance here. That was something I wrote an article on way back in May or June predicting. I said he looks like he's poised to go on some big runs. So going to be interesting to see how things shake out down there at Dragon and Pulling in the Pines in Lufkin, Texas. Now, of course, you can watch all of this. We completely understand Texas might be a long ways away. That's like a 13-hour drive for me, something like that, 12, 13-hour drive. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look it up. So someone like myself, I've got to work on Friday. I can't just hop in the Camry and buzz down there. It's not entirely feasible, not impossible by any means. But, this is not a backyard pull for some of us upper Midwesterners. Now, to the Texas crew, they're sitting here listening and saying, don't even talk to us about distance. If you're not able to be there, outlawpulling.tv has you covered. But I want to talk about that because if you've been watching pulling media in general, I'm sure you've seen Full Pull release their fall schedule. And they've talked, among other events, that they are going to be broadcasting. You've probably seen that Dragon and Pulling in the Pines, the Outlaw event in Lufkin, Texas, is going to be streamed on Full Pull. But I'm here to reassure all of my outlawpulling.tv subscribers, if that is you, if that is us, okay? If we watch Outlaw Pulling, see it right over my shoulder right here, outlawpulling.tv. If that's you, you are still fine. You don't have to hop over to Full Pull. You don't, as far as I understand, you don't have to do anything. It's just going to be co-broadcasted. Okay. If you're a Full Pull guy, cool. Awesome. You get to watch some amazing outlaw truck and tractor pulling, but you're not going to not have access if you're already an outlawpulling.tv subscriber. So, okay, you're good to go right there. A lot of good stuff going down there in Dragon and Pulling in the Pines in Lufkin, Texas. A lot of good stuff going on right here in the heart of the Midwest. A lot of awesome points races. Of course, we've got the banquet coming up in a little bit, and I've seen out there discussions of the scholarship. If that applies to you, some people have had some questions. I believe there are some age ranges on that. I think it's, and I'm not the right one to talk to on this, reach out to all of our correspondents at the Outlaw website. But I believe there are some age restrictions on that, but I think it might still be open to be submitted, or we're getting close. If not, it's worth a phone call. It's worth checking into anywhere that you can look into that. We love helping out our young guns. We love helping out the youth. So that scholarship is still obviously out there available. And of course, as we're putting up down here on the board, watch Dragon and Pulling in the Pines live at outlawpulling.tv, as well as fullpull.live, October 25th through the 26th. 2-day event. Lots of great stuff out there. So as we're hitting this final push of the season, if you're out there watching live tonight, go ahead and get in the comments and let us know what were some of the things that you kept the closest eye on. We talked about, what are we going to keep an eye on when we go to Lufkin? What did you really keep an eye on this season? What were some things that impressed you? What were some things that made you jump out of your seat? Or what were the stories that you kind of watched? There's no wrong answers here. If you're one of the viewers, I want all the viewers right now, go ahead and get in the comments and let us know, what were your personal stories? What were you and your buddy when you're driving home after the pull? What did you discuss? What did you talk about? What were some of your favorite pulls? Give us your feedback as a fan and just kind of tell us about what was the 2024 season to you. For me, what a growing experience. What an opportunity. Folks, just a little over a year ago, this was something I was just kind of sinking my teeth into. And I started loading up all of my pictures, my entire photo library today. And I realized just how many pulls I had the opportunity to attend this season. Truly incredible association to be able to work essentially full time, or at least a full season or a full schedule with the Outlaws and just watch what they did. What a bunch of fun. It was great to be on board. It was great to be a part of that. I can tell you this, the behind the scenes aspect of putting on a pull, generating a pull, creating a pull, everything from the sponsorships to the actual what happens that day, how they prepare for that day, just on kind of the production officiating side. It's a lot more than I think the casual fan might realize. And it's a lot of fun. So really, really cool takeaways this season. What were your big takeaways? What were your major stories? And one of those stories that we're going to be discussing tonight, the light super stock ag class. Did we see a shakeup this year? I don't want to go so far as to say a changing of the guard, because I think there's a lot of ways that I think that this class is still going to be very much up for the grabs in the future. And I think the person who walked away victorious was not an underdog by any means, but certainly from day one, we saw things open up and some scenarios develop in a class that had really saw kind of a three-way battle over the past season or so, and give us a really interesting result and a really hard-fought victory at season's end by its points champion there. Of course, then on the other opposite end of the spectrum, you have things like the Pro Stock four-wheel drive truck class. So if we saw a changing of the guard in the light super stock ag, did we see the cementing of a dynasty? That's what they call it in football and baseball. When you have a team that wins multiple championships, multiple years in a row, the Kansas City Chiefs, the New England Patriots. Have we seen Keith Hammonds cement his dynasty status in the Pro Stock four-wheel drive truck class by coming away with yet again another points championship victory in that class? Hey, we got some new comments popping up here. Parade Alley Lounge. I see YouTube is letting you keep that. It seems like you're keeping that name longer than the ones that you've had in the past. I'm going to start like a running tally of different names. Checking in from Bowling Green, Ohio. He says, hi, guys. Now, last night, you were drinking something that sounded very fancy. What are we relaxing with this evening? But thank you so much, like always, for tuning in and watching Outlawed Live and all of our social media productions. Says it's a catchy name. I'm just surprised YouTube's letting you keep it. It seems like YouTube's always making you change from time to time. Crown Royal Salted Caramel. Go right ahead, my man. That sounds like a you thing, not a me thing, but I hope that that is quite refreshing and relaxing. Says it's delicious with cream soda on ice. I like a good cream soda. That's a controversial drink. Guys out there, are you cream soda fans? Yeah, cream soda is good. But no, if you look back at some of the other stories from the season, did Keith Hammond cement his legacy? Have we seen a changing of the guard in the light super stock ag division? In the regular light super stock class, are we seeing the beginnings of a consistency run out there with the Bow Boy and Green Lightning and back-to-back championships with that tractor? Will we see him pulling at the National Farm Machinery Show yet again? Not too early to start thinking about that. Other things out there, Dynasty. You want to talk Dynasty? How about your modified four-wheel drive trucks out there with the same team, different truck walking away victorious this year? Hey, buddy, says, keep up the good work. I'm just having fun, man. Just happy to be here. It all goes back to people like you. Thank you so much for watching every single night. Super modified two-wheel drive trucks, like we said, they're still going to be shaking things out. So, just lots of class. I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, thinking back, what did I see this season? Cole said the light mod class was the class to watch. So Cole's story on the air. And guys, I encourage you to flip through some of Cole's write-ups and a lot of his picture. Cole is a very well-spoken, very educated pulling fan, does some work for us on outlawpulling.tv. He says the light mod class was the class to watch this season, with Geiger and Beckman duking it out with the Yacht Boys. Brad Hillinga's awesome pass in Arlington, Nebraska just barely missed the win. So now we're talking about that. So Cole, you're talking about the light limited modified class, and then you jump over to the super farm class. I want everyone out there to tell me why the super farms weren't the most nail-biting class to watch all season long. That class has about 11 tractors that any single one of them can win at the drop of a hat. It says Brad Halinga's awesome pass in Arlington, Nebraska. Just barely missed the win. After that run, Dad and I looked at each other and said, where did he come from? He had a pretty good year with the D21. Yeah. And, I talked to him in Norfolk, Nebraska, and they said that they had kind of been at a couple different associations. I think they've been at Outlaw in the past, ran up north for a while, and were really just kind of getting the bugs worked back out, kind of bringing that D21 back around, getting the fire to light into it. Really didn't have a strong debut there in Norfolk. By Arlington, things are looking good. By Rock Valley, he walks away with a win. And this is one of those, and I think it was even Ron who predicted it. We were kind of sitting there with the full pull crew, and they said, give us some interesting picks, give us some dark horses. And I think it was Ron who said, I'm going to take that endangered species D21, and I'll be darned if he didn't walk away with a win that night. Not his only win on the season. By the end of the season, people were all saying, watch out for that. Kind of another one of those stories. You give that class 5 more hooks, and the whole thing could shake down differently. You're right with the Geigers. Geiger and Beckman battling out with the boys. Of course, Wes Severs, you can't count him out. Wes was on a tear early in the season until he had to make some adjustments to his setup, and that kind of affected the way that tractor was able to breathe. So, yeah, those light limited modified guys, always super, super competitive. A great class with a lot of variety. We were talking to Colton Whitworth last night, a former competitor in the light limited modified class. One of the true modified classes still out there, in the essence of it hasn't been essentially taken over by the Hemis, by the 1471 or the 871 supercharged, especially the 1471 supercharged Hemis. I love a 1471 supercharged Hemi. Love the twin style setup that the Outlaws run. But if you're wanting to see some of that old school variety, the light limited modifieds are certainly the way to go. So yeah, Cole, great response. Everybody else out there, what'd you watch this season? What were some things that really struck your eye or struck a chord with you? What were the stories out there? So let's continue that super farm class with Weisenkamp. Chad Weisenkamp walks away with the win in the super farm class, holds off. That's the only way I can put it. Holds off the 3-driver team based out of Rock Valley of the Red Rock. There are times where you win, you walk away and you've got a 100-point lead on the field. And then there are other times where you win by, keeping the competition, just where they need to do, playing defense if you could. What a chase that was. But it wasn't even just that. Weisenkamp and the Someday machine and the Red Rock machine kind of had this two-way battle the whole way. It wasn't Earnhardt versus Gordon, it wasn't McGuire versus Sosa or whatever have you, because all the while you've got the Andrews team sitting right there 3 and 4 the whole time, who are just as heavy hitters, probably one more super farms combined than any other team I can think of off the top of my head. So you're not just looking out for the guy behind you, you're looking out for the legends of the sport. And then after that, you're going on to Johansson, Mr. Top 5, Mr. Consistency. I bet that tractor was in the number 5 spot a baker's dozen times this year. That might be an exaggeration, but you're never breathing easy in that class. And then, oh yeah, by the way, Brad Halinga, D21 endangered species, grabs 2, 3, 4 wins on the year. Spanky's Toy National Farm Machinery Show regular competitor. And then you even got doctor's orders. You've got a white grabbing a victory at the end of the season. There's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide in that class. You're not safe from any of the competitors. So I think that super farm class generates one of the most interesting stories that you possibly can see out there. Looking forward to seeing how things are going to be wrapped up total. Looking forward to seeing what else we have out there. And of course, talking about dragging and pulling in the pines, Lufkin, Texas, should remind each and every one of us that you still have time to get entered, play, and win that 25SC subcompact tractor in the Outlaw Case IH Superfan experience. As a matter of fact, let's go over here and take a look at it really quick, because you cannot win if you don't play. And we're going to be giving away, Case IH is going to be giving away a tractor before the year is over. Case IH Superfan experience. Of course, Case IH, the title sponsor of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. They're going to be giving away one of those tractors. And like Ron says, it would mean the most to us if one of you loyal viewers who watch us week in, week out, one of you folks who come to all our pulls, if it's a name we recognize, awesome sponsorship. Case IH does so much. Really cool that they're doing that. I think that's going to be going. I think they're going to pull or draw or somewhere down around there in Lufkin. I think that's going to go till the end of the season. A couple more comments chiming in here. Parade Alley doing his thing. Said, I had a Parade Alley Lounge 2025 flag made, and we have T-shirts and hats on order too. Where can order, like fans can order them? Is this open to the general public? If so, tell us where, and we'll throw that out there. Robert Miner says the season was too short and went by too fast. Buddy, truer word, you hit the nail on the head right there. You know, it's absolutely crazy to think that it is October the 1st right now, October 1st. But what I like, you know, we're not done. Think if you were with the majority of other national level associations or even state or regional level. You know, I worked with a garden tractor crew of all things this past weekend, just one of those things that kind of fell in my lap. And they were talking about it's their final hook of the year, final pull of the year. We've still got pulling. We've still got 2.5 weeks to talk about the hypotheticals, the what ifs, the who coulds, and then we get to watch it go down. It's almost like playoff style. MLB playoffs started today, and it's going to kind of get that vibe and get that feel to it. You're going to take a month off and then go down to Texas where it's warm and it's still a little summer-esque, kind of get that Indian summer. So that's kind of how I stay off the, you know, the Sunday scaries of like things are wrapping up. So no, we've still got pulling, but boy, they go by fast. I completely agree. Parade Alley doing this thing. Let Jason know if you want one. I send to him. Yeah, we want Parade Alley Lounge shirts. That you can absolutely guarantee, and you can bet right there. But yeah, the season's been fun. He's got all sorts of stuff. You can check it out there. Parade Alley Lounge. How fun is that? Love our fans. Hey, good. Get entered in that super fan contest. You know, this is what we want. We want passionate, engaged fans. Hope everyone's having an awesome Tuesday night. Hope everyone's having a great beginning to their October out there. Cory Schlueter was supposed to have been our guest tonight. Cory Schlueter, your light super stock ag 2024 points champion. Now, Schluters are farmers. Schluters are hard workers. Probably a hang up. Maybe it's something with that Verizon phone out there. So Cory, not on at the moment. We're going to keep this rolling just as long as we can to give him every chance and opportunity. But to let the cat out of the bag, Cory Schlueter was supposed to be our guest tonight. And I tell you what, folks, if you speak of the devil shall appear. I see it in the back room or right now. Cory, looking like he might not have the best connection out there. Cory, I'm not really sure if you can hear me or not. We don't have any video from you right now, bud. But hopefully things are going to get connected soon. Just kind of let us know what's going on. We'll keep this going. But guys, right on cue, Cory Schlueter logging in. He's in the green room back there. And it does look like there may be some potential internet issues going on out there. So we're going to give him some time, see if we can get the ship righted there. But let's go ahead and kind of prime the pump on the season that Cory Schlueter with the barn burner. Team Schlueter with the barn burner, of course, the barn buddy, piloted by Father Chuck, had this year. You know, really good season for them. Don't have video Folks, I'm going to go ahead and bring him on here. We're going to see if maybe we might just have audio. Bear with us if this doesn't pan out accordingly, and we'll just find out. Hey, Cory, this is Mike Idle. Do you have sound on your side, buddy? Cory, do you have any sound over there? You don't have any video. We think we might be having some connection issues. Okay, so we'll give that some time, wait and see if that can kind of get righted. You know, I know that our individual that we were interviewing last night interviewed right from the combine, you know, so you have to be very understanding. These are salt of the earth, blue collar individuals. He is just as likely to be out there, you know, out in the combine right now, could be down deep in the back 40s somewhere, not a lot of cell phone service. And, you know, hey, he's down there from Carrollton, Missouri, and that's kind of in the down center part of the state. So I don't know, might have to give them a hard time. Maybe they don't have all that fancy internet like we do up here in the north side of the show me state. But let's talk about Cory's season nonetheless, and kind of just analyze what we saw out there. So Team Ulmer, Mark and Tyler Ulmer have really been dialed in as strong as anybody in the light superstock ag division for a while now. If you flip back through the old handouts and all of your outlaw books and your programs and such, you're going to see Eleanor and even the weapon atop that light superstock ag class for, you know, quite a bit, pretty consistently. But then, you know, I jumped on it. I kind of just hit the game last season, but I get the feeling that kind of beating on that door right behind Team Ulmer very consistently was Team Schlueter. And you knew that this was going to be a good old Western. I mean, the name Outlaw is perfect. This was going to be a shootout. This was going to be a dogfight with these teams. And much like the Super Farm class, Jeremy Paulson, with his big, hard running machine, was right there as well. So you kind of felt going into 2024 that this was going to be a three-way battle with about two or three teams kind of looking right down the barrel at each other. Cory Schlueter, I felt kind of knew this, comes out to Ravenna, Nebraska, pulls the diesel burning barn buddy, triple turbocharged John Deere, like 390 feet. Guys, I'm telling you, I don't know that I've seen speed out of a pulling vehicle like I saw with that one on the track that night. Takes it all the way down to the barriers, almost gives them a little sneeze there at the end. And it was kind of just a statement. It was almost like hell or high water. You know, the Deere from Central Missouri is here to play this year. And that was kind of the motif for his season. Now, that's not to say that vehicle injury wasn't an aspect as well. They grenaded a transmission in the barn burner in Lee, Nebraska. I think they missed a hook in Warrensburg, Missouri. I'm sure the drop helped them out with that. But kind of early on, grabbed a couple of quick victories. The Ulmer team kind of decided to concentrate their focuses with their new endeavors that they're running with the weapon this year. You saw Mark Ulmer pulling in the light super stock division quite a bit. But of course, Eleanor, when it showed up and when it was there, was still a force to be reckoned with. They went, if you watch Wisner is the perfect kind of lightning in a bottle look at those two tractors. One wins on Friday night, the other wins on Saturday night. The Thunderbolt comes right down to total distance. I mean, it was just as simple as that. You know, two hard-running competitors. Big hats off to Cory Schlueter. A lot of early victories, just a hard-running season. There was very little. If you look back, you're always looking, how can we do better? I don't know that team can sit back and look at that specific tractor and say that they could do a whole lot better. There are very few adjustments to be made from a tractor that had adjustments made to it in the past. A lot of neat things. And it looks like we've got them now. So, Cory, I think you're good. I'm going to get caught up on comments, then we're going to bring you on stage. I'm doing everything I can to make you guys sound like a rock star. A couple other comments we have over here. Parade Alley says, how far east do you get near Ohio for a pull during the summer? Love to meet you and share some of my Infinity whiskey. So the farthest east, I'm going the wrong direction if you're looking for me to go east. I am about as far east as the Outlaws go. That's kind of where I live. So I'm 99% of the time going to be going west. I mean, truly outside of Macon, Missouri, outside of Troy, Missouri. I'm probably not crossing the river. Kevin Davis, of course, promoter right there at the Wayne County Fair. Wonderful individual. Kevin, I can't wait to see you at the banquet. Says it was a fun summer with the Outlaws. Couldn't agree more. And a man who I know would agree that it was a fun summer with the Outlaws, Cory Schlueter. How we doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. Sorry about the technical difficulty there. I was trying to use my laptop. I guess it wouldn't work.
No problem, man. We just chalked that up to some of that central Missouri, down by the river internet. We were just assuming that you guys are still on dial-up or something down there.
There you go. So. You can call it that. You bet.
So folks, Cory Schlueter, the man of the hour, your light super stock ag 2024 points champion. Cory, let's just go ahead. Congratulations, man. Has it sank in, and how does it feel to be a points champion?
Thanks, man. It feels awesome. We've been chasing this for the last couple of years. Came up short last year, kind of let it slip. Disappointing way to finish the year, but it feels good, and it feels real good to be third generation OTTPA points championship in our family.
So that answers some of the questions. So am I hearing this correctly, that each of you pullers in the Schlueter family now has an independent points championship to their credit?
You bet. I'm the only one that only has one to my name, but that's right. Multiple. Go ahead.
Yeah, give us the details on that. Tell us who got what, when, and just kind of bring us up to speed to when you got yours now this year.
Sure. Goodness, I don't know. So back around 1996, the Grand River Deer was built. My grandfather, he used to pull back in the 80s with a tractor called Old Smoky. It was a 40-20, and they would switch it from farming with it to tractor pulling on the weekends. And so that kind of started the bug, I guess you could say, the tractor pulling bug. And so in 96, they built the Grand River Deer. That was a designated pulling tractor. From that point, we've had multiple tractors, anything from, of course, light supers to super farms, limited pro stocks, and we've been doing it ever since.
So just rough guessing, when did your granddad and your dad maybe walk away with their points championships, if you could kind of give us a rough year?
Sure. So 2000, I know, was a big year for my grandfather. He won the Outlaw, and I believe this is all right, Super Farm and Light Super Stock points in the same year. And then as well as the Illinois Tractor Pullers Association points championship that year.
Oh, wow.
And then in 07, the Barn Buddy was built. And I can't remember if it was 07. I know for sure 09. My dad won points championship, and he's won a couple since then. And then, of course, this year was my first.
So, I want to almost start this year's story at the tail end of last year. I kind of joined the Outlaws late last year, hadn't met you yet, didn't know you. But my impression, just watching you drive, watching your team work, was you guys were hungry, and you felt, the impression I got was that at the tail end of 2023, you felt like you had all the parts, pieces, formula to win with this thing. So fast forward to 2024, first event we're at together, Ravenna, Nebraska, and you come out and you park that thing at like 390. And it just right then, it felt like my gut feeling. I was like, yes, that's what is there any truth to that, or am I crazy when I'm saying that's kind of what it looked like from my vantage point?
No, you're exactly right. Like I said, we let it slip away last year. We led the points all season long. Last few hooks, we had some mechanical troubles that we were trying to diagnose, and within the last 6 pulls, like I said, we let it slip away. So yeah, we knew what we had to do this year. Of course, earlier you were talking about all the classes and all the different mix-ups and things, and I'm just super excited where our light super stock ag class is going. We've got a lot of tough competitors, so it's not easy. And so this year we came out swinging, as you said, and was able to make it happen.
Now, on paper, and it's a fun season to look back at your season, because on paper, it kind of looks like, well, you guys won a lot. You kind of took the lead early and just kind of barn burner was burning it down the whole way through. But for those who actually watch the nitty gritty aspects of the season, it wasn't just perfectly. You guys had to overcome a good little amount of adversity. Tell us about some of the big humps you guys had to come over, including Lee, Nebraska.
You bet. Lee is the one that burns the hardest. Some of our competitors can testament to this. We were real close to just throwing in the towel at that point. We destroyed the transmission there at Lee. I mean, there was nothing left, and we got home, looked at it, knew we had big issues, and for some reason, Monday morning, the candle was lit. A lot of good guys here in the state of Missouri. Shout out to Doug Roberts, Potters up there in North Missouri.
Sure.
They kind of drove us a little bit to go ahead and get it back together, and of course, it worked out great. The other big upset was at Rock Valley. We messed up. We done some preventive maintenance and missed one little number 3 AN line and caused us to melt some pistons right there. Of course, at one of the biggest shows on dirt. So super disappointing. I still kind of laugh that something about Rock Valley just doesn't like me because I can maybe get one good pass in, but can never get two. So that hurt bad. But you're right. We had diversity, but we got a good team behind us. We got a lot of good people that work with us, whether it's motor parts, tires, you name it. Just the guys on the farm even that keep things going throughout the week while we're turning wrenches. So I just want to say thanks to all those guys because we were able to get it done.
Yeah, that's something that, I love when pullers stop and talk about because there's a lot of pullers who it takes a lot to go out and go pulling, and everyone thinks about the sacrifices that, the wives and the family and whoever, but those businesses and the farms, they've got to keep on trucking. They don't shut down just when we go out on the road on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday sweeps, some of those big, long outlaw sweeps that we go. So, yeah, the folks that are willing to keep all this going, that's definitely worth the shout out right there. What were some of your personal fun memories from the season? I kind of set you up and talked about like kind of some of the bummer stuff. But tell me, at what point were you really thinking to yourself, man, we're hooked and booked, and this could be the year?
I really can't say anything or one point. But, we were hitting the season about mid-season and having some real good consistency, which is something we've kind of struggled with this tractor. And we've been building a big notebook. And so we had a lot of notes taken and kind of knew what we had to do at each and every track. But it's different every year. And but we were getting some good consistency in, and we're leading the points. And so it just felt good about mid-season, and then we had the big crash at Lee, and it was like, oh no, this is another year that's going to slip away.
And another pass where you guys were just, I would be willing to bet that the millisecond before that happened, you're probably grinning ear to ear because that thing was hooked in, and you were sitting back and just hauling the mail. Yeah, so that was one of those that just came up and snake bit you out of nowhere because you were to go way out the back door, buddy.
Yeah, it was another one of those 34 mile an hour passes or something right before the transmission let loose. And anytime you can get that kind of ground speed, you're hooked up and sailing.
Yeah, that's a fun pull. That's got a big fan base out there. That's got a really interactive crowd. That's got a really good track. Lee's got a lot of good stuff going. Dick Blankenspur watching from Inwood, Iowa. And Kevin Davis, of course, wants to congratulate you on a nice run in Wayne, Nebraska.
For sure.
Now, Cory, I'm not going to lie. I have no memory off the top of my mind. What'd you do in Wayne? Did you win? Did you finish top 5?
You bet. Kind of played king of the hill. I climbed the hill, it felt like. So
another one of course, this is the literal hill where it kind of goes up a little bit at the end.
That's right. Another one of those memorable passes of the year. Like you said, Ravenna, Wayne, let's see, Wisner, yeah, there's some great memories of some big passes this year.
You talk about how your class is really moving in the right direction, and it's so entertaining. And when I kind of came on board with the Outlaws, and my buddies are asking me about, well, what can you tell us about it? I say, look at this class right here. This is a really intriguing class. Really dive into the rules. So not only is there a lot of good iron, there's a lot of really good drivers in your class. How does that affect just your thought process, or does that fuel the fire when you've got I kind of feel like between Jeremy Paulson and Mark and Tyler Ulmer, you guys kind of get this shootout mentality late in the year. Talk to us about that. What does that add from your perspective?
Well, that's what's so fun about our class. Don't get me wrong, horsepower helps, but reading the track, driving your setup, that's what plays the biggest part in our class. And like you said, man, there's some awesome competitors. Of course, the Ulmers have known how to do it for many years, and that's what makes it fun. And then all the differences between big cubic inch motors versus multi-chargers versus diesels versus alcohols. I mean, just so many tire setups. It's just all over the board, and it just depends on if it's your night or not, whether it works.
Well, it's really fun from a fan and announcer's point too, because of course we always want to play the red versus green angle, but then now we can play the diesel versus alcohol angle, but it doesn't stop there. We can play the big cube versus, there's a lot of decisions to be made. And if you look at the kind of the top of the class, you can kind of see all three setups and kind of like the different ways that people can go about it. Each one of them having success in their own right. So Joe Claypool, thanks for watching. Just down the road over in Macon, Missouri, another Outlaw competitor. Cory, you and your dad did something really interesting this year that made me hold my breath nervous for you, but I thought it was a great gesture and a great thing that you guys did. You pulled outside of your class and went over to Buckner, Missouri, to kind of just be some more iron, to do the thing in the light super stock class. And I remember thinking to myself, buddy, like, you've got it close to wrapped up, but it's not entirely wrapped up. Tell us about that whole weekend and just what went down that pull.
So that's a class I'm looking at pretty closely. It's a class I'd love to go and play in that component light super class. I'd love to see a diesel in there, rock and roll, and battle it out with those Alky guys. But no, it's a close pull from home. We didn't get a lot of Missouri hooks this year, so we wanted to kind of salute our fans that are here local and give them an opportunity to come over and watch us hook. So, yeah, it was a roll of the dice, I guess you could say. And the way Spencer turned out, my goodness, it could have happened there just as easy. So. But we had a backup plan. Don't think we didn't. I had a couple of things in my back pocket in case catastrophe did happen. So, of course, I had to be in Spencer to seal off the points championship. So, like I say, we had some stuff in our back pocket just in case.
So, I don't want to talk much about it. You brought it up a little bit, but it's interesting. You're sitting here saying that maybe Team Schlueter has some interest in a component chassis light super stock. You look like you might be in a neighborhood where a build could be, or a rebuild or a reassessment, so maybe some silver lining there. I'll let your dad tell his own stories on that right there, and I'm not going to put you on the spot and make you talk too much about that, but certainly would be interesting to see. Now, you guys pulled those ag rear end diesels with some of the best light supers in the nation. And if I remember right, you held your own pretty well there at Buckner, didn't you?
You bet. We were tickled with our outcome. We're at a little bit of a disadvantage, not having that motor placement farther forward and all that extra movable weight. But no, we were tickled with the outcome, and we had a lot of fun. And glad to be able to run over there. Thanks to the Buckner group. For putting on a great show, and thanks for all the people that came over and watched us, because we were at a disadvantage, but we had a lot of fun. So
definitely, and I guess your other close pull to home would maybe have been Warrensburg, which followed the day after Lee, if we're correct, right? So cool stuff. I love what you're saying. You felt you owed it to your fans. You've got loyal supporters. You're 20 minutes from Carrollton when you're down there at Buckner. You guys can't be terribly far, I imagine. So I applaud you for what you did right there. Cayenne Storm. Does this name mean anything to you?
You bet. That's my sister, and she's got three young boys, Kip, Rhett, and Luke, that are big supporters of the Schlueter pulling team. So, hi, guys.
That's awesome. So how long before we see a young Storm or a young Schlueter? How long before, Cory, you made it 3 in a row. You've got a couple kids of your own. Who knows? You guys could just go ahead and we'll have to do some digging. I'm going to have to ask some of the historians out there, how many families can say they've got 3 generational points championships, and one of these kiddos could turn it into 4. So that'd certainly be something neat. Are they all pulling fans? Are your kiddos big pulling fans? I see them at the track.
Oh yeah. We all love making it a family sport, and so we get to spend a lot of time together out on the road, camping and pulling, and so it's a great time. They all went with us up to Madison, South Dakota, and we had an awesome time at the Thresher Days, and so we've had a great summer, and you bet there's probably going to be a Storm or a little Schlueter in the seat. Sometime.
Good. Kurt Paulson chiming in, of course, another one of these excellent competitors in your class, says congratulations to Cory. Kurt had a really nice first season in that vehicle that he pulled this year with the Crazy Horse. I really think that he's going to be another one to keep an eye on in the future as well. Now that we're all chiming in right here, Tyler Spatansky, congratulations. Cory, thanks for being a great representative of our class and cannot wait for next summer. Tyler grabbed a win before the season was over as well. So, there's kind of nowhere to hide in your class, man. All these guys that are commenting are great pullers and drivers.
And that's one reason why that component class hasn't grabbed us yet. We got some awesome guys in our class, and we love hanging out with them and having a good time on the track and off the track. And so it's going to be a hard jump. Not that the light super stock component class doesn't have some great guys in it too, but we have a lot of fun in our ag class, and we got a lot of awesome competitors.
Here's another one chiming in from our neck of the woods. Chuck Lee says congratulations to the Schlueter pulling. Chuck and I have I've been able to run into Chuck several times this season, the driver of the Rawhide tractor. Of course, he pulls in what they call the Excalibur Extreme class, but I think at its heart, very comparable, if not identical class to the light super stock ag division that we have here in the Outlaws as well. A man who's been pulling for a very long time on a tractor that's been around. Many wins under the belt of that Rawhide tractor.
That's right, for sure.
So, getting them all coming in now. Marty Samuelson says hi from Ravenna, Nebraska. Brooke Meister says got to get them on a garden tractor. I saw a couple of outlaw pulling kids on some garden tractors this weekend. So got to start somewhere.
That's right. Yep.
Another one right here out of your class, Lauren Boyson's well-deserved points championship. Congratulations,
thanks, Lauren
Cory.
And Ryan. Appreciate it, guys.
Congratulations to them. I think they walked away with a Iowa Tractor Pullers point championship. I think in their division.
Another color for you. Maybe a John Deere still, but another color in the class, and another tractor that stepped up and really putting on a good show, and we're having a lot of fun.
I agree with that. I would say, it's kind of easy to look at who's finished 1, 2, 3 over the past couple of years. I'd keep your eyes on Ryan Boyson. I think that under construction machine, doggone it, Cory, for not just getting me excited for 2025. If we're going to have to wait and see how the narrative's going to shake out. Yeah. So I am curious, what do light super stock ag pullers do? What are your tractors up to right now? National Farm Machinery Show, not really something that applies to your class. So what do you guys kind of do in the off season to kind of get you ready for next year? Walk us through the thought process there.
Well, you just got to keep improving. Everybody is stepping up. Everybody's doing things to get better and better. So, of course, right now, our time of year, we're harvesting hard. There's not a lot of time to worry about the pulling tractors.
Sure.
But yeah, just so of course we all know the Barn Buddies last pass, complete destruction. So there's a lot to do there, but
Yeah.
now's the matter of time of just going through and checking things over, making any repairs we have to, any improvements. Like I say, the improvements is a very crucial thing. You always got to keep improving, and because there's always somebody coming for you, I guarantee.
There's a lot. I mean, there's, this class, just looking through the comments. I mean, you just can't sleep on any of these guys. It's a great class.
Yeah.
It's a fun class. A lot of supporting individuals in there. Without, putting you on the spot too much, because I made myself promise I wasn't going to talk about it, but I can't not now that we're here. Is the optimistic, cautious goal to try to have Barn Buddy maybe back for 2025, or are we still kind of assessing options at this point?
So we'll have to see what motor components are still salvageable. A lot of ands and ifs. I mean,
Sure.
we have a lot of fun competing in the same class. It kind of gives us a bit of an advantage, having two tractors in the same class. I know a lot of guys in other classes can testament to that. When you have one tractor that exactly the setup, go down the track, well, the next one behind it, you just have an upper hand on how to set it up and know how that works. So, that gives us an advantage. We sure hate to split the tractors up in different classes, but time will tell. Like I say, we just got to first see what's salvageable of some of the parts and things and go from there.
You're probably in the back of your mind saying, Mike, first we've got to make it through harvest season before we can really start thinking about this. But no, Cory, this has been excellent. You've been a great representative of your class. We've seen a lot of support of your class right here. Big congratulations to you from me and on behalf of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. That's a neat statistic. 3 generations, 3 points championships, all with a single association. That's really, really cool. It was a fun season to watch. You worked hard. You earned it. Thank you for taking time out of harvest and coming on tonight. Who do you need to thank before we let you get out of here this evening?
Yeah, happy to be here. I just want to thank, first off, all my family, my wife, my kids for letting me drag them along on the road and things, and my parents for sure, because without them, this season, I shouldn't say the season. My father's a huge part of even my tractor. We work on them together and everything. But then it goes all the way down to my grandfather for getting the bug bite, I guess, tractor pulling many years ago.
Got a hold of you guys.
Yeah. So to them, my aunts, uncles, we've been doing this for a long time and we enjoy it every year. The Outlaw Pulling family, thanks to you guys for doing all the promotions and stuff, because that's just growing the sport. And I know it's tough work. Just trying to keep our fans updated on our own pulling page is tough work. So thanks to you guys, but all of our fans, we got a lot of people that travel many, many miles to come see us at some of these shows. So just want to shout out to them. And then, of course, all of our supporters, Riverside Engines, K3 Tire, Weimer Fuel, DPE up at Savannah. I mean, there's all kinds of parts builders and stuff that help us keep these tractors running in top-notch shape. So just want to say thanks to all of them too.
Absolutely. Well said. It takes everyone involved. And Cory, can't wait for 2025 to roll around. We'll have to meet up and chat a little bit at the banquet. Thanks so much for coming on. Congratulations on a great season.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, Cory. All right, ladies and gentlemen, your 2024 Light Super Stock Ag Champion, atop the John Deere that he calls Barn Burner, Cory Schlueter out of Carrollton, Missouri. Great interviews, a well-spoken individual, tough running tractor from a hard running team. Thankful to have him on tonight. Cool thing about Cory was my very first When the Smoke Clears featured puller. Before we even really ironed out our format and our graphics, I kind of need to go back and and have Cory do another one for us so we can get him with the cool new format. But he was our first When the Smoke Clears puller that we have ever featured. So while we're there and while we're talking about that, let's go ahead at this point and just transition right on to that part of the show as our time is getting a little bit late here. When the Smoke Clears is our featured weekly driver. And this week, when the smoke clears, you're going to be feeling pretty cool, actually. All right, this week's featured puller, When the Smoke Clears, you're going to be looking at Sarah Cool Noki. Now, Sarah, if you're watching tonight, I've announced for you a couple times this season, have not had the pleasure to meet you in person, and I've always pronounced it Sarah Cool Noki. If it's Noke or something, if I'm saying it incorrectly, you have my permission. Bop me on the head first time you meet me and correct it for me. But Sarah is going to be our featured puller. She's another generational puller. We'll put her hero card back up here while I hit her biography. And then I have something a little special that I want to show concerning this tractor right here. So let's check out what Sarah had to say when she was gracious enough to fill out her biography for us. When the Smoke Clears, your driver is Sarah Cool Noki. Vehicle, hot stuff. It's a 966 International diesel super stock. She said years pulling. She has hooked in 2018, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Her first hook was in Bedford, Iowa, pulling for the Nebraska Bush Pullers. Most memorable hook was the first time going down the track at Bedford. Absolutely. That's a hook no one would forget the first time piloting their vehicle. Wildest ride she ever took was in McLouth, Kansas. Broke the frame in 2018. Points championship, she says, well, I haven't earned one yet because this is my first year as a member pulling with the Outlaws. So we're happy to have her and hope that she comes back for many, many more in the future. She said her biggest pulling hero is her dad, Richard Cool. The best pulling advice, go to have fun. Winning is just a bonus. Her day job, she farms with her dad, crops and livestock both. Her pulling goals are someday to have both of her daughters go down the track, getting more ladies involved in pulling and more of that multi-generational pullers out there as well. She says the best part about being an outlaw, everyone is like family and willing to help you out if needed. Her message to the fans, come out to the pits, ask questions, and take pictures with the vehicles. And where can you find these guys on social media? Go out to Facebook. Their page is Hot Stuff Pulling Team. So Sarah Cool Noki, driver of the Hot Stuff 966 International. We talked about generational pulling. If you've been seeing what I've been up to on social media, you've seen that I have been doing a lot of throwback pictures. She talked about her dad being her hero. I want everyone to take a good hard look at the tractor as it sits right now. This is 2024 as the tractor sits. Here is the exact same tractor almost 40 years ago. This picture was taken in 1985. This would have been her father driving it. This is Richard Cool driving the exact same tractor, Hot Stuff. Look at how well they have preserved this pulling machine over the years. They've got the white wheels. They've got the devil and the pitchfork on the side. So easy to see why her father, Richard, there is her inspiration. and her biggest hero in the world of pulling. Neat stuff like that when you can see a vehicle staying consistent throughout all of these years. Folks that have still been watching, we've got a great viewership tonight. A lot of interactive fans, really good guest. Cory Schlueter came on. We ran about 15 minutes over. No big deal. We can always go a little late when we're talking to great pullers. But fans, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Mike Idle on behalf of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. Thank you so much for watching Outlawed Live. Tune in again next Tuesday night. Have a great evening, everybody. Good night.